Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2019 Lead and Speed Nationals. Pete Words here avec Phil Lantier. Phil, comment ça va aujourd'hui?
Super bien, Pete. On est heureux d'être ici à Allez. C'est rempli à capacité déjà pour cette compétition.
Absolument. We've done Open Boulder Nationals, we've done Youth Boulder Nationals, and here we are, third event of the National Series. This is Lead and Speed. Open athletes and youth athletes in the building at the same time. As you said, this place is full. Youth C all the way up to open level athletes climbing. Qualifiers have been going on all day today.
Yeah.
And we are about to start with Youth C Speed.
That's right. We're going to have some young, eager competitors that are going to want to show how fast they can get up the wall. I think it's going to be really an interesting show to see, Pete. See all that energy, youthful energy, getting up and scampering up as fast as they can.
Absolutely. And I have been, if you've been following anything that I've been saying online for the last 4 or 5 years, I have been a bit of a detractor of speed climbing, but I am slowly coming around. It's exciting. Speed climbing is a good time. At the Pan Ams, I got to watch it up close. And everybody who says the most exciting thing about speed is because it's so clear. First one to the top wins, win and move on. Down through the bracket. If you lose, you're out. All the way down to the top 4. Big final, small final, first, second, third. So it's so easy to follow. It's dynamic. It's exciting. It is a technical aspect of climbing. It just happens very quickly.
Right, and we're seeing images of the wall. So for the folks at home, this isn't a 15-meter wall. It's built to the 10-meter specifications here at Alley Up. It's a shorter wall. It's going to see a lot of strong attempts, and it's built to the specifications of the IFSC.
Absolutely, and if you don't know speed climbing, the route and the wall angle and the spacing and the holds is exactly the same on every speed route in every gym that gets competed on or trained on worldwide. So they've set a standard for the speed route, and that is giving us the ability to just get times shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So obviously they keep track. We set national records, we set world records in terms of our sport as a world record, and people have been getting very, very good at the speed route. And from its inception, it's a little bit different. There's more holds on the Youth C version than when you see the other categories compete in speed later on the weekend. A handful of these holds will be taken off. Obviously, the Youth C climbers are a bit smaller. But people don't even use some of the holds that they used when they started because they found more and more and more efficient ways to get up the route. And that's, you and I were talking earlier today, that's what's starting to make it interesting is now you're searching for tenths of seconds.
That's right. And, in order to do that, you're going to take risks, and you're going to have to make calculated risks on micro movements that, can often be hard to see for the non-knowing eye or someone that might not know the sport very well. So it's all about, their own body size, what they will want to do to span certain gaps, how they can get their feet up onto the new the highest holds they can, and really just burst up as quickly as possible. So it's all about precision. It's all about strength and also technique. Maybe perhaps not as much as what you see on a difficulty route, but there is a lot of technique involved, as you mentioned.
Exactly. So you're going to see these first two start off. We're going to go down the draw, 16 Youth C girls. And basically they get time to set the start pad for their foot. So when they lift that foot off, it starts the clock.
Yeah.
And they get to put that wherever they want based on the stance they want to take to start the route. So they get to shuffle it around, they get to test it, and then once they're ready to go, they get counted in 3, 2, 1, boom. And it happens very, very quickly.
Right.
As you might expect. So you might hear some cheering in the background. They're still doing qualifiers for the lead routes. So you might hear some cheering because we are in the middle of the gym, and we are going to be focused on the speed here. So right off the hop, we are going to have
Laurence Cassivi-Pelletier against Allison Timmer. So Laurence qualified in first, and Allison Timmer in 16th for this first draw.
And here we go. So you see they don't look at their feet a lot. The goal by getting faster, goodness, a 9, sub 10 seconds. right off the bat for Laurence.
Yeah, Laurence climbing out of Horizon Rock that actually have a speed wall to the specifications, and so they've surely had a lot of practice and putting in the hours to make sure they're fast up on the wall.
Exactly, and more and more gyms are starting to put a speed route in, because now if you have athletes that are focused and want to do speed, you want to be able to give them the facilities to do that. So there was a time when there was only one speed wall in all of Canada, and now they've popped up in quite a few gyms. A lot of the 10-meter walls are there, and then there are a handful of the full 15-meter walls in place.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, though, the UC only climb 10 meters even at that point.
That's a good question, Pete. I wouldn't be able to answer that. You know, obviously, I think we've got some experience with bouldering, with some lead comps perhaps for you, Pete, but this is brand new for us.
Brand new territory.
That's right.
Oh, and then, so what you saw there was a false start, so you can't lift your foot off before the buzzer goes. So it's the beep, 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 and then go. So we got Oceana Gelena, and we have Alexandre Royer. And normally they like the gym to be completely silent when they start speed so they can hear the buzzers. This is good speed here. And just like that, 8 seconds.
So Evangelina Briggs and Ariane Fortin. Evangelina qualified in 4th and Ariane 13th.
Up they go. You definitely see the difference in the athletes that have trained on the speed route more, just in the efficiency of movement, in the way that they're not pausing on the holds, they're not pausing to look for their footholds, they're basically just moving as fluidly and as quickly as possible up the wall.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the holds are pretty much the same holds for the feet and for the hand holds. They're just patterned and set in a specific sequence that would allow you to touch different parts of the holds. You know, you got a jug part, you got a lesser jug part, you got a bit of a pinch.
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking about the history of that hold.
Yeah, the original speed route was set and created by Jackie Goodoff, who's a legendary route setter, and kind of on the fly. And then it has become the gold standard. Not really by original design. Oh, a slip right. Maybe she can recover from this.
She's fighting hard.
Fighting really hard. This is
wow.
This is a good catch-up. Not quite enough. You see that, as we were saying right off the top, that the desire to shave off tenths of seconds means that you have to take some risks, and some of that risk-taking is going to result in some slipping. So people are going to try and push the envelope. We're at Nationals. Now's the time to try and get every single bit off that clock. So we got Jacqueline Ho and Hélène Lajoie is our next pairing. Jacqueline on the left.
And you were talking about some competitors having a better time, or perhaps an easier time on the route because they've been putting in the hours that they've been practicing. But also, you know, in these age groups, they've got different body types. Some of them are taller, so that can also play in. I mean, Jacqueline Ho right here, 9 seconds 42. Wow, stormed up it.
Exactly. in the open side of speed climbing on the international scale, so in the IFSC, the people who specialize in speed only do speed, and they are built differently than your average climber. They're built like sprinters. They're powerful. They have fast twitch skills, and they're not designed for the strength to weight ratio that comes in lead and bouldering. They're designed for maximum power, and they look like it. So
yeah.
you obviously don't see that in the UC category, but if you watch any speed climbing on the world stage, you'll see some pretty sturdy competitors.
And, that's true, Pete, but, obviously with the combined format for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, that's brought a lot of boulders and route climbers to the speed wall.
Exactly.
And so we've been seeing big names, and we've been seeing some bigger crowds at the speed comps.
You see Taylor Galloway putting in an 8-second run.
So that's going to be a good matchup, Taylor Galloway versus Jacqueline Ho.
Putting in good times.
Yeah.
You see a good look here at the kind of the dynamic movement. Feet are coming off. There's not a lot of precision. The holds are big enough that you can just slam them down. We have Ines Ferrani and Madeleine Anctil.
Madeleine Anctil, ouais, qui est de Allez Up. Madeleine qui grimpe ici. Alors,
un local.
It's a tight race, Pete.
It's close.
But Madeleine with a good performance, 8 seconds.
You see, it was almost a place in the middle where the women who've been winning have done it at that sort of three-quarter height. There's a move in there that either you've got it dialed in or you don't. A lot of them have the start really well locked in.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think it's all about rhythm, maintaining rhythm, and we just saw in the replay that Madeleine was actually smearing.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of techniques and sort of strategies that we were alluding to a bit earlier in saying that climbers that know what they need to do to shave some time off won't necessarily look to place their feet carefully on the wall. Obviously, you've been seeing that they've been shuffling and moving as fast as they can, and sometimes that's the kinds of strategies that will get you just a couple of seconds up the wall quicker.
Yeah, and a couple of Alberta athletes, Alexa Vanier and Elise Villeneuve. 8 seconds from Alexa Vanier. And Elise with a good time, but ended up against somebody just a little bit faster. See here, Alexa just really well done on that last third of the route.
Yeah.
Perfect foot placements.
Good work from Alexa. So we're into our quarterfinals.
Yep. So now we're gonna do the boys. So we go. We're gonna go round of 16, and there's only 8 UC boys. So we're going to do the round of 8 for the gentlemen, and then we're going to come back to the round of 8 for the girls, and then we're going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Sounds like a plan. Keep you on your toes, folks.
Something has to.
Yeah, and obviously you can't see this back home because we're here, but the routes that the setters have established for the difficulty competition for the qualifiers. They're colorful. There are a lot of volumes, really technical in nature, and I think we're going to be in for a treat, Pete, for the semifinals and the finals tomorrow.
Hey, Paul. That's always Route A?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Derma on your left, and Émile Jobin will be on your right.
Yeah, Emmanuel had a great Youth Boulder Nationals at Block Shop again here in Montreal. So let's see if he's an all-arounder. Oh.
False start. I think you get one. You get one false start, 2 you're out. So you get to push the envelope once, and then you got to be a little bit more careful the second time. It's a good look at the starting block. Actually, it's a compression. So you step down on it, and when you leave it, that's when your time starts.
Yeah.
We've come a long way from stopwatches and a lot of good eyesight. You also see the light changes color from blue to green, so if you don't want to rely on your hearing, you can have a look. Ooh, a slip,
Whoa.
but far enough ahead that
Reeling
it didn't matter.
that in. That was quite a big span, too.
Yeah, it was a good save. A good save from Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see there, he just had that left hand.
On the pinch.
Yeah, under 8 seconds. Which interestingly only puts him, he was like 5/10 out of the best UC girls time. Alexa Vanier somewhat famously gave Adam, who we're seeing will come up shortly, a bit of a drubbing at Alberta Provincials. They put the winner of the girls and the winner of the boys head to head, and she beat him fair and square.
That's good.
It was great. It was really good. All right.
They don't often get to climb on the same routes, but in speed,
In speed they do. Maxime Terrien on your left, Colby Gagne, I'm gonna guess, will be on your right.
Yeah, we don't know these kids are up and comers. We hope to see them for years to come on the circuit, so we might get their names wrong though.
Oh, a slip right off the bat. Can you reel it in?
He looks like he wants to.
Looks like he wants to.
Whoa, it's a tight race.
Close.
He's looking. Oh,
9-7. That might be a tie. That might be 9-7-5 to 9-7-6 though.
Oh, can we get a look at those timers? Is it at all possible?
9-7-5. And I think on the left was 9-7-6. He did look over. Maxime looked to his right and put his hands up over his head, so I think he saw that he was 1/10 of a second away.
And that's all it takes, folks, is just 1/10 of a second. And all right, so now we're going to have Hugo Fortier and Samuel Zambilowicz. Samuel Zambilowicz.
We occasionally make names French that aren't necessarily French. You see here that from the start, you see how much taller that Samuel is. And so he's using a different start hold. Oh, and then a slip. And full speed ahead for Hugo. So yeah, there's not a set start hold. You can use anything that you can reach on those first 3 start holds. And our last pairing is going to be Adam Edwards and Evan Lau. Couple of Alberta kids. And these guys have been practicing speed. They've been doing it. There's a wall at the Rocky Mountain facility in Calgary. And they've been putting the time in. And it's starting to show. Adam Edwards making that dyno in the middle. And then just nipping out Evan there.
Yeah,
sub 9 seconds.
10ths of a second. So Adam.
You see that big double dyno there. And it got him ahead, and then it took him a minute to get his feet down. And he actually looked to his right to see if he was ahead or not. I don't know that that's necessarily going to serve you well.
No,
keep your head down and go to the finish.
Actually, we got an example of that a bit earlier. I feel like I can't remember which competitor it was, but if you're looking over, that constitutes a move.
Yeah.
In and of itself. And if you're doing that, then you're not doing a move that's making you progress upwards, right?
Exactly.
Donc, on s'en va en 8e de finale pour les dames.
So down to the 8th. And we're going to start with Laurence against Océane.
Oui, donc Laurence Cassivi-Pelletier contre Océane Gélina.
Gotta come out and get tied in. And they get their foot set, and then they'll come over and chalk up. Nobody's carrying chalk bag. Nobody's stopping to chalk up on the speed route.
Nope.
And interesting, if you climb in a gym with the speed route, the slower you climb it, the harder it is. The holds aren't great. It's a pumpy route.
Right. Actually, the 15-meter version of the speed climbing wall is supposedly clocks in between 10A and 10C. They never really narrowed it down.
Yeah.
But it's in that range. So
yeah. It ain't easy.
No.
But when you go fast, you're just barely touching the holds. Laurence, was ahead, and then isn't.
That's a tie.
I think that's a tie.
8:56. Wow. And you heard the crowd.
Yeah,
they
heard
stopped
that.
looking at the lead competitors for a second there and turned around and said, what? 8:56, both of them.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Laurence was behind and then managed to squeeze up just on that top piece, and now there's a quick moment of what do we do?
It's not over till it's over, folks. You got to keep punching.
And I don't think they go right away, so they'll loop them back in again. They don't make them climb. I don't know if it's one pairing or if they do it at the end of the pairing.
I would hope that they get some rest after that really nice race they've just had.
Yeah, that was great stuff. So now we have Evangeline Briggs on your left and Cedar Hendry on the right. I remember at Pan Am's, there was a question about how they get down into the draw if somebody false started their way out. There was a crazy rules question. I had the rules book out, and it was everybody kind of saying, you know what, we're still new at this. We're not so efficient that we know all the ins and the outs of what do we do in the weird situations. So these guys, I think, have got it dialed by this point. Evangeline staying ahead here.
Yeah.
Looking pretty smooth on that. Oh, a slip.
She
manages
to control it, yeah. Might have proved costly otherwise in another context, but had some margin after having stormed out at the beginning. So Evangelina Briggs goes on to the semifinals. Wait, quarterfinals, sorry.
Jacqueline Ho against Taylor Galloway. Both of their times were 8:40 and 8:41 in the round just before that. So this proves to be a close one.
Yeah, I thought that these were the two more dynamic climbers that we saw in the previous round. So it's going to be a good one to watch. Pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah, doing the same strategy. See, Taylor skips the move in the middle. And Jacqueline pushing it with the slip. So you see there's a move in the middle in which Taylor chose to do the dyno, and instead of you can go right and come back left, or you can skip right over it. And we're going to get it's just below where you see her there. Have a look for it. It's just at where the MEC and Alley Up logos are. You can go right and come back. And if you've got it in you, you can do the dyno. Ines Ferrarni on your left, Ferrarini, and Alexa Vanier on your right.
So we got that wrong on the last round as to the identity of the winner. It was actually Ines, so my bad.
These are also 2 sub-9 seconds, but Alexa with the fastest time of all your qualifiers at 8:01. You see their different starting hand positions. Do whatever you need to do to get where you need to go. Alexa Vanier, tall and smooth. See that dyno in the middle. A little slip. And just managed to pull it together with sub-8 seconds this time. Getting faster. So with a slip, still a better time.
Yeah, that's impressive, to have the wherewithal to just forget about that foot slip and just...
And it was close. Good stuff.
That's interesting. You know, that's a matchup, and they're talking to each other right now. That's a next matchup for the
exactly. Like, what did you do?
quarterfinals.
What did you do on that move? What did you do on the move before that? So now I think we're probably going to go back to the tie, and we'll solve that.
That would make sense. Laurence Cassivi-Pelletier and Alice and Océane Gélina, who were neck and neck, actually finished with a tie. To the general surprise of everybody here.
Us included, I would say. You don't see a lot of ties. I mean, imagine a tie, a straight-up tie in the 100-meter dash. It just doesn't happen that often. And this is the 100-meter dash of climbing. If you're following climbing at all and you see some of the promotion the IFSC is doing in the lead-up to the Olympics, they are calling it the fastest sport at the Olympics. So it's a bit of a misnomer because they're climbing 15 meters in 5 seconds, right? The 100-meter dash is 100 meters in sub 9 seconds.
Right.
But it's over quicker than any other event. So the top men and women, the top men are clocking in at around 5 seconds on a 15-meter route, which if you haven't seen it is really impressive. And the top women I think are coming in not that far away from that. I think they're clocking in on maybe 7 seconds on the 15-meter route. We can look up, see what maybe the current IFSC record is for women on the speed route. The judges are having some discussion, and I have to imagine it's about
the tie.
And or they're double checking. And actually, that could be Sebastian is taking a photo to send to Phil and I of the next round start list. That's how we're getting the information from the speed wall back over to us. Seb's blowing up my phone, and we're getting results.
Thanks, Seb, for blowing up Pete's phone.
Yeah, we're great. It's good stuff.
So a lot of whippers here at Allez. People are giving it all they've got on the lead qualifiers. You'll be seeing the cream of the crop tomorrow. So it's a packed house once again.
Route setters working. I mean, if you thought that route setting for a single event was difficult, so one open event or one youth event, imagine the depth that needs to go into setting for open competitors and all the youth categories at the same time. The route setting crew here, we'll talk more about them as the weekend goes on, but really great effort from all of them. And they're even the ones that are going and brushing the holds. So these guys are exhausted, and they are the ones who are jugging up the routes and brushing holds as well. So they have put in as good of an effort as you're going to see is a route setting crew for a lead and speed nationals. Oh, so on the tie, this is what we're getting on our text. So the tie at 8.56 between Laurence and Océane, they go to a count back, so they don't race again.
Okay.
So on the count back, Laurence goes ahead because she had a better time in her previous round. So that's interesting. So someone looked the rule book up. And if we're where we're supposed to be, we're doing the semis now for the gentlemen. So Kat's giving them the rules. And our first pairing is going to be Emmanuel Derima and Colby Gagne. So there's your semifinalists. Emmanuel, Colby, Adam, and Hugo Fortier. And then for your girls, on the semifinal, we have Laurence, Evangelina Briggs, Taylor Galloway, and Alexa Vanier. Not standing in that order. And I believe we're going to start with the Youth C boys. All right, so this is for a berth into the final.
That's right.
So this, they compete against each other, but the time is what gets them into the final, I believe.
I think you're right. Winner gets to the big final.
And the losers go to the small final. So if you win your pairing,
you get to fight for the gold medal.
Yeah.
Whereas, obviously, you would be fighting for the bronze medal if you're in the small final.
So each of the winners go, and then we move into the bronze. That's right. You just got to win to keep going. All right, Emmanuel and Colby. And there they go. So slow to start, and then speeding up through the middle.
And Emmanuel, with a sub-8 second effort, has punched his ticket to the final.
It was a decisive win.
Yeah, no fault there.
Oh, and that's similar. He put up 7.55 in his quarterfinal.
And
so 7.3 on this one.
Seems a little bit more warmed up. He was a bit more convincing than in his previous round.
And it's interesting. It's almost as though the beginning of the route is, I mean, it's harder for them, obviously. They're moving slower through it. So there's it's not exactly the same holds in the same, or it's the same holds, but they're not in exactly the same order the whole way up the route. So there is a sequence to the route. It's not just left, right the whole way up. And you'll, as we said, some of these athletes will choose to dyno sections. Some will skip, and they'll all start differently. So you go on the left, Adam Edwards on the right. Adam choosing that dyno.
Oh, wow.
No, a little slip.
And Adam Edwards.
Just that slip cost him. Pushing for everything. And Hugo Fortier came through for the win. You see it's neck and neck, and then Adam doesn't get his feet under him quick enough just right there. And Hugo consistently moves through. All right. So Laurence on your left, Evangelina on your right. There was a time when speed belaying was two people working one behind the other, one pulling the rope through the ATC and one pulling the slack out of the way. And we have evolved to auto belays, working instead of belayers stressing out on the way up the speed route. So we're slowly getting better.
Continuous improvement,
Continuous
folks.
improvement. Good start from both these ladies. It's going to be close. Oh my goodness. 1/10 of a second.
And I think Laurence has Laurence Cassidy-Pelletier qui réussit à se mériter une place dans la finale. Alors, bravo à Laurence.
So good move from, you saw the dyno there, but couldn't quite reel it back in.
Yeah, I was talking to Maria Izquierdo, that's the owner at Horizon Rock, and she was telling me that some of the Youth C athletes that we've seen this weekend, a lot of them had actually started, this was their first season doing speed. And they've progressed a lot, you know, having that infrastructure at their gym. So
yeah, starting in September till now. Hey, if you do something every day, you're going to get good at it. Taylor Galloway on your left. Alexa Vanier still running the best times of the round. That's a good focus. Oh.
Taylor did not want to come off there.
No. Was your tune your sense? So imagine exactly the same as watching the start of any track race. You're compressing all your muscles so that you can explode out based on your knowledge of the spacing between. The countdown is the same every time. It's not somebody saying 1, 2, 3. It's a timer on the beeps. It's beep, beep, go. So you get good at that, getting your timing down, trying to push you. You don't want to false start, but if you can get that short edge. So watch that light go green, and then you see who leaves first. Almost exactly the same start. Oh, a slip from Taylor, and Alexa motoring through. 7, 7, 8.
And that's some good attitude from the two competitors, you know.
Exactly.
Congratulating each other as they were coming down. So we'll have Laurence Cassivi-Pelletier against Alexa Vanier, and then Taylor Galloway versus Evangelina Briggs.
So they run it like if you watch any of the ski and snowboard cross, you don't just lose to get a bronze because everything is in pairs. So they run what they call the small final. So the small final runs to give us our third and fourth, and then they run the big final, which gives us first and second. So small final goes first. These are our first medals of 2019 Lead and Speed Nationals.
Yeah, I'm psyched, Pete.
Here at Allez Up. Adam Edwards and Colby Gain. So Adam with that slip. I bet you in the back of his mind he's thinking he'd rather be in the final. They both will be, of course, thinking they'd rather be in the final, but a medal's a medal. I would take a bronze medal.
You want to come back with the hardware, so.
And you want to come back and show that, you know, it doesn't, you know, it's adversity. You know, it's hard to not be going for a gold medal in a head-to-head scenario like this, but they do say that you win a bronze and you lose a silver. So you got to win a race to get a bronze medal.
That's right.
Adam with a good start. Pushing the eye. He had a look over. I don't know that he needed to have a look, but he just nudges him out.
Yeah. 16 tenths of a second.
Yeah.
Of indifference, and again you gotta tell yourself, is it useful to look across?
I got to imagine no. Just run your race. So he has a look, and then he doesn't get his feet under him, and he's looking even up to the top.
Yeah.
Put your head down. Get to the finish.
I mean, I imagine that if you're used to the route and you know where their holds can be, then you've got that leisure to look over.
Yeah. Or if you're way ahead. But I don't know that I would feel comfortable enough to just have a quick look in something that takes less than 8 seconds to get to the top of. You want to see me trip and fall? Watch me look to my left when I'm running for the bus.
Right, and I can only imagine how tempting it is to see where you're at. You want to measure yourself, you know, and see where you're at compared to your competitor. But in these, you know, really tight races where, you know, you need to be focused on what you're doing. I don't know if it's...
Look at this, storming up.
Oh, my God.
My goodness. Sub 7 seconds for a gold medal from Emmanuel De Rima. He wound that up in the middle.
Yeah, and he's just capped off an awesome season for himself because
they're head and head to right here, and then his finish is just so strong.
It is. Really dynamic, explosive power, great coordination. So Emmanuel is a complete climber, making it happen on the difficulty part and bouldering part and also in speed now. So you've got your champion, folks. in Youth C.
Youth C gold medal, Emmanuel de Rima. And as you were saying, sorry, I cut you off there, but he did climb quite well at Youth Boulder Nationals. My memory is not strong, but I remember that he climbed very well. Small final is going to be Taylor Galloway and Evangelina Briggs. Seen quite a few of these girls rocking the braids for Lead and Speed Nationals. All right, for the bronze medal, Youth C girls. Good start from Evangeline. But Taylor motoring through. Look at this. Strings together 3 of those dynos in the middle of the route. 7-6-1.
That was a strong effort by Taylor Galloway.
Really strong effort. That was good stuff. She's psyched. She's psyched for a bronze, and she's psyched for that time.
Yeah, you know.
I'm not sure that wasn't faster than
Alexa.
No, than Emmanuel.
I think it might be.
I think if we get the results kicked back over to us, we'll be able to tell you for sure. So they do post the times. It's not just head-to-head. They keep track of the times because obviously we want to know how fast we're going. And if we see that before we come off the broadcast, we'll let you know. But that was, she stormed up that. All right, for the gold medal.
Laurence Cassivi-Pelletier against Alexa Vanier.
That's a good start. But Alexa Vanier maybe just nudging ahead.
Wow.
You see the reach through at the end. So her finishing sequence.
7:52, and yeah, it just felt like in that final sequence she could just dig deeper and pull and lock off.
Yeah, it's this one-arm reach on the last move. Watch this, one arm and doesn't touch the second last hold.
Wow, that's an amazing strategy because she's just like fully on that left foot and reeling in with that right arm, doing that big lock-off as you were alluding to. And wow. So
that is an impressive
Alexa
gold medal
Vanier
win from Alexa Vanier.
Strikes gold.
La vitesse est excitant.
Oui, c'est vraiment. En tout cas, moi, je trouve ça fou, 7 secondes à cet âge-là.
Oui.
Oui, vraiment. Mais bravo.
Ça, c'est les juniors. Ça, c'est les C, les Youth C, les athlètes qui ont 13 et 14 années.
C'est ça, c'est. Puis tu te dis, ils vont se développer, ils vont évidemment grandir, devenir plus forts avec le temps. Ils vont trouver encore plus de stratégies pour gagner du temps. Bon, on va leur enlever des prises aussi, là.
Oui.
Parce que ça, c'est le parcours
de
la catégorie juvénile C. Mais bon.
Il faut entraîner encore sur la voie quand ils sont commencés avec le juvénile B. Mais le milieu de la voie, c'est exactement la même chose. C'est juste au commencement que c'est les prises en extra. Et comme tu la vois, Alexa était efficient sur la dernière partie de la voie.
Oui.
Donc, la technique, c'est fantastique. Tous les mouvements dynamiques. Fantastique placement des pieds. Puis la one-arm pull at the end.
That one-arm pull was impressive. And it shows that Alexa has been putting in the work and has been refining her strategy to achieve this gold medal.
Yeah. And just like that, shortest finals broadcast in history.
That's right.
40 minutes, on est fini avec la vitesse de juvénile C au championnat canadien de difficulté puis vitesse.
Mais la fin de semaine est loin d'être terminée, Pete, parce que
exactement.
C'est ça. C'est avec ça qu'on veut vous laisser là, avant qu'on arrive avec les résultats finaux. C'est qu'en fait, demain, vous aurez droit à ce qu'il y a de mieux en termes d'escalade de difficulté. Alors, pour ceux qui aiment regarder cette discipline-là d'escalade, ne manquez pas la journée de dimanche, alors qu'on va pouvoir avoir toutes sortes de catégories, toutes les catégories qui feront les demi-finales et les finales demain. Alors, ça commence ça à 8h30. Alors que vous
8h30 en matin.
Oui, c'est ça. 8h30 le matin. Alors, prenez-vous un café, ouvrez l'ordi ou l'iPad ou quel que soit l'appareil que vous utilisez et on sera là sur le feed pour le déjeuner avec vous. Et ce sera une journée complète pour la difficulté. Ensuite, lundi, en après-midi. Et en fait, ce sera les finales à partir de 3 heures de vitesse. Donc, les catégories juvénile A et junior et juvénile B et aussi, en plus de la catégorie Open. Alors, voilà pour l'horaire. So, just to put that in English, so tomorrow is difficulty day here at Allez for our lead and speed nationals 2019. So, lead day tomorrow, starting off at 8:30. Grab your coffee, grab your bagel, and join us.
Yeah. It starts early, but remember, if you think it's early to get up and watch, these guys will be in the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow to get warmed up to come out and climb semifinal at 8:30. All categories run starting at 8:30 for semis, and then finals are going to be split. So at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to have youth A, B, C, and junior. And then at 8:30 in the evening is going to be difficulty finals for the open categories. So tomorrow's a big day. And then on Monday, we're running speed for all other categories, not youth C. So youth A, B, and junior, and open. So we're going to run those finals for you in the afternoon on Monday. But tomorrow's a full day. If you're in Montreal, by all means, come on down. The atmosphere is great in the gym here. It's a great facility. There's lots of windows. It's bright. There's tons of athletes kicking around. Come and see the Roots up close. Really see what these athletes are fighting for. And if you tuned in, thanks for listening. Lead Speed Nationals 2019 brought to you by MEC, Climbing Escalade Canada here at Allez Up en Montréal. I'm not sure if we're sticking around to do the podium. We'll hang out with you, and if the podium comes up, we'll be here. So we're going to stick around on the stream. If you're still watching, stay on the stream. We're going to do the podium, but this gives us a good opportunity to discuss a little bit about the new combined format. So obviously we talk about the Olympics a lot and the way that the Olympic format, so for this year, in 2020, this Olympic year coming up, that athletes have to qualify in across disciplines. So you need to climb in lead and speed and bouldering. A lot of the people in the community have been discussing that it should ideally be split. And not so much because you have to have the lead and bouldering athletes learn to climb speed, but because the speed specialists don't actually climb almost at all in bouldering and lead. And what you end up with is you don't see the best athletes in speed which is quite dynamic. So these athletes here, these Youth C and Youth B athletes, they're quite young, and they are learning now how to train for 3 events in one season.
Right. And that in itself is new for everybody across the globe, for all countries, for all nationalities. So I think that's what's interesting is that we're getting the resource, we're getting, obviously the sports science of climbing is evolving. And so, again, as we were discussing earlier, Pete, there's this idea of timing between comps. What do you have first, or are you going to comps and participating in all 3 disciplines? This is what this current breed of athletes is experimenting with.
Yeah, and do we have to be a bit careful about burning athletes out? So the World Cup season is involved. If you're going to do bouldering and lead events, your calendar is full from May till basically September at this point. On the World Cup, on the open side of things. So not talking about youth specifically. And the only time they climb combined in one event is at the World Championships. So if you added a couple of events along the way in which you had to do lead, speed, and bouldering in the same long weekend or in the same week, is that too much to ask? But if the combined format is the way forward, then the IFSC and then the national organizations have to solve their competition schedule in a way that doesn't burn out athletes and end up with either overtraining, injuries, fatigue, burnout in some way.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one key thing that I think is really interesting to see, because these disciplines require vastly different skill sets. When you're in bouldering, you're working pure power and strength, obviously technique too, but you need to have full power on. When you're doing difficulty, you're trying to take that power and you're trying to sort of stretch it out over at least 3 to 4 times the moves that you'll have in bouldering. So you're working your power endurance. You'll want to, and usually you can work power and then make that go into power endurance.
But it's not easy.
No, it's not easy at all, because actually power endurance is one of the, in my opinion, one of the most hardest things to train in climbing, to train well, but also one of the more painful things to train.
Yeah, and I just having a couple conversations with some of the athletes that I know went to the first 2 bouldering World Cups of the season. So they went from our bouldering championships to continue training, because the World Cup is, you need to be in as good a shape as possible. And then they only came back last week to come to lead nationals. So we've sent our top athletes to go to a bouldering World Cup or 2, and then we've dragged them back, and all of them said, I'm really pumped right now. So they haven't had time to train for routes. So we have to solve the timing. We have to solve the training. We have 3 of our top open-level athletes are competing at a World Cup in Munich this weekend. That's right. They're missing a national championship. And that's an unfortunate piece of timing. I understand that, the way who set their schedule first, et cetera, et cetera. But we are missing both of our repeat national open difficulty champions in Alana Yip and Sean McCall, and then Jason Hollowatch is also hanging out in Munich this weekend. So these are perennial podium athletes.
Yeah, and so what that means is it's wide open for someone to stake their claim on a national title. And so that's what's interesting is, someone new will be crowned. And there are a lot of contenders that are looking to do that in Montreal, here at Allez. So we're seeing the podiums getting ready. We're seeing Catherine Bélanger, head judge, here at Allez for the nationals in discussion. Obviously, the number of volunteers, coaches, judges, belayers.
Belayers, oh my goodness.
I mean, we're going to talk about that tomorrow during the lead finals, but, you need to be undergoing training just to be belaying in a comp like this. I think I'm a good belayer, Pete. And I think I heard you said you were pretty good at belaying yourself, but, these people here are dedicated belayers that have been trained to do this, to make sure the competitors have an even playing field.
Yeah, and they're going to be tuned in for the whole day. So if you imagine you go to the crag and you belay a partner on 4 or 5 burn, a warm up and 4 or 5 burns on their project, or a couple routes over the course of a day. These guys are belaying dozens and dozens of times across the day, and every time you need to be focused. So belaying is not just about grab the rope and make sure you don't short anybody. You have to be focused. So I just we will we'll give lots of respect to those guys and girls that are belaying over the weekend, but that is a huge effort to have these guys come in and volunteer and keep these climbers off the ground, because you have to be able to climb with the confidence that you don't have to be worried about what happens if I let go here or slip or fall in this way. And you said the auto belay kicks in for speed climbing, but for lead climbing, we need to rely on good old-fashioned people. And they work really hard, and everybody works really hard to put on an event like this. Tons of sponsor support. We're growing nationally. Every event we do as a national series, we're learning from previous years, from previous events, from previous gym owner experience. Everybody's getting better and better.
Yeah.
I have to imagine the time lag here is for the opportunity for coaches to go and look at the results, check their own feed to see what they think the times are at. So there must be an appeal period. But here, Sebastian Powell. So we got podiums coming here. So Seb giving a little bit of love to Allez up, probably to the volunteers. I think this is our opportunity to thank the CEC for the work they've put in. They're obviously growing along the way as we go as a national sport organization. So we want to, the CEC has been consistently working hard at all 3 national series events this year. If you step back into the volunteer in the judges room, it is a hub of people checking lists, checking route maps, bringing judges' scores together, putting in scores. There's a lot of typing back there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
data crunching.
Exactly.
Excel spreadsheets going on, and making sure that the organization is as smooth as it is here at Allez Up. I mean, Allez Up is a well-oiled machine when it comes to competition climbing. They've hosted their fair share of national championships over the years, and they've been memorable, for sure.
Absolutely. Adam Edwards in third. Hugo Fortier stepping up, making him almost as tall as Emmanuel standing on the ground.
Which is, shows that body types can vary quite a bit.
Yeah, these guys grow at different rates.
Yeah, and so Adam Edwards out of Boulder in Calgary, Hugo Fortier from Canyon on the south shore of Montreal, not too far away from here, and Emmanuel, I think he's from Ontario.
I believe so, yes.
I don't know which gym, but anyway, he's a strong climber, and he is your champion in the UC category. Seems pretty nonplussed about it,
Pretty cash. No, there's a smile in there. There's a smile in there.
There we go.
There it is.
Great job, Emmanuel.
Yeah, we've come a long way from when the speed route at Youth World Championships was 2 completely different actual routes, a couple of 511s that you could climb as fast as possible, and we did it for fun. And now look how serious these athletes are. Taylor Galloway in third. Looking pretty happy.
Yeah.
Laurence from Horizon Rock.
Yeah.
En deuxième place.
Laurence Cassivi-Pelletier qui a super bien grimpé, qui a donné du fil à retordre à notre championne. Puis, on va voir maintenant Alexa Vanier remonter sur la plus haute marche du podium et remporter ce championnat dans la catégorie juvénile C. Alexa Vanier.
There's your, look at that. Those are some big smiles.
That's right.
Speed climbing, I like this. The girls do this a lot. They get up for the top podium photo.
Yeah, just a great vibe. A lot of smiles in the speed. I don't know if I've seen that many smiles out of the difficulty comp though, Pete.
Not, every time I look up, someone's coming out with their hands on top of their head.
Oh, how did I slip here? How did I fall
slip?
there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these guys are smiling. They pretty much get to the top every time, so that's obviously kind of sweet.
That's right. It's a different ball game, and tomorrow we'll probably, unfortunately, for some, have some tears.
Yep.
But that's part of the excitement of the sport, and it shows you the passion that's here in Montreal.
Exactly. So come hang out with us tomorrow morning, 8:30. Obviously Montreal Eastern Time, and Phil and I will be here all day.
That's right.
All day.
All day.
All day.
But the action will be coming in really fast, and yeah.
It'll be spicy. So thanks for checking out. First medals of Lead and Speed Nationals 2019. Youth C, podiums, sports action. We got a good intro to speed, and I think we saw some really good times from some really young athletes. So super exciting stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us, Phil. Merci beaucoup. On va voir demain matin.
Ouais, on se revoit demain matin, 8h30, tout le monde. Soyez-y.
Au revoir, merci.
Bye.